What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and this is your match preview. It's Everton against Brighton at the Amex. Apologies, it's late. I've been away. I've been away for the weekend. Took my nan to Breen, if anyone's interested on knowing. Bumped into a couple of fans of the channel as well. So big shout out to both Mark and Bradley. Thank you ever so much for the love and the support. I've got to give a little shout out to Jay as well from last week. Honest to God, it's weird. Getting spotted in Birmingham and Somerset, it's just odd. But massive shout out to you guys. Thank you for coming over and saying hello. Big game tonight. We know it's a big game. It's a hell of a day, really. I mean, the fixtures, the way that they line up with the four teams essentially playing each other today, you know, Southampton, Forest, Everton, and then Leeds playing. It's a horrible day, a horrible day. And, you know, you sit there and you think, if Forest win, we've got a problem. It's not Leeds playing, is it? It's Leicester. It's Leicester. You know, if Leicester win and Forest win, we're down unless we get a win away at Brighton. A really difficult place, by the way. You know, a team that's just come off the back of beating Manchester United 1-0 with a 99th minute penalty. It's really, really tough. I'm not looking forward to the game, if I'm being honest. I think it'll be a game where Everton have to play on the counter, because if they don't play on the counter, they'll play through us. So we need a solid back four, back five, however he sets up. And, you know, I'm not enamoured with Dyche at all. I understand he's been dealt a tough hand, but this consistency to play Michael Keane I find ridiculous. You know, I keep hearing he's having a good game and he's played well, and I'm not feeling that. But I said before this, about 3 weeks ago, I said, look, I'm not going to sit there and absolutely demonstrate and remonstrate and disrespect the players, because all they need to know is that I support them. And look, I do support them. I support them with everything I've got. I really hope that we get out of this mess. But, you know, while the manager's making decisions like he is, where he's not making substitutions and he's consistently playing, in my opinion, one of the poorest centre-halves the football club's got, I really struggle with it personally. And, you know, I think this Everton team need to find something. I wouldn't have an issue playing Demarai Gray instead of Iwobi. And I know people will say, well, what about the work rate of Iwobi? You know, he's everywhere. It's just sometimes the end product. You know, the crosses into the box aren't good enough. And when we've got a player in McNeil where you could argue that the end product is better, I'd rather maybe someone be a bit more clinical, be a bit more aggressive and try and score us a goal. And I think there's more chance of Demarai Gray doing that than Iwobi. Certainly on the counter-attack, where pace is essential. It's really difficult for me, this game. Obviously, Coleman's now out, and that is a terrible shame, because, you know, even in the cameo, let's call it a cameo, because he come back from injury, got injured, and now he's out for the season, and potentially, you know, who knows what else. But in that very short period of time he was on that pitch against Leicester, you could see that Everton was everything to him. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say I've been his biggest fan for years and years and years, because I haven't. You know, I love Seamus Coleman because of his just willingness to work for Everton and, you know, aggression in the right way. But I don't think he's a great leader, if I'm being totally honest, and I never have done. If I'm being completely blunt, I don't think he's a great captain. But that isn't me digging out Coleman as a player. He has been a fantastic servant to Everton, and, you know, Everton have got to find a replacement for that. Nathan Patterson, when he come on, he did do a good job. He did an okay job. But he's got 4 massive games now to the end of the season where he needs to prove that he's a Premier League fullback. And that's a big ask. It's a big ask when there's pressure on him. For me as well, Stanley Mills comes onto the bench. I've said it before and I'll say it again. He is a player that I genuinely believe has got a bright future. And I think we saw it pre-season. We saw it snippets at the start of the season, and then he's not had a sniff. I genuinely think this kid's got a lot of ability, a lot of quality, and he certainly deserves a place on the bench. And, You know, we need to get support into Calvert-Lewin because it's a massive today that Lewin scores. It's massive. Everton have to score today. You know, it might be that we only score one and they score four. It could be horrendous. You know, they've done us at our place quite comfortably. You worry about it, you dread about it, but this is a game that Everton have to try and do everything they can to get a point out of, and that's a massive ask away at Brighton. We all know that. You know, there'll be, as always, 3,000 away fans going there, sold out as always, cheering the Blues on. You know, I'm sure there'll be a few pyros that aren't allowed, but they'll be there. There'll be banners, there'll be numerous songs, singing, chanting. The fans will do their bit. We will all do our bit to support this team, but it's on the players. I said this last week. I made a small video, put it on Twitter. It is all on the players, and that's why there's no point sitting here talking tactically. There's no point sitting here really going into the manager. It is all about the result. It is literally about the result tonight, and Everton can't get dicked. They can't get dicked because goal difference is going to be absolutely monumental this season by the looks of it. You know, it's not like Man City absolutely destroyed Leeds the other night. It was 2-1. The goal difference was barely affected. Everton go to Brighton, lose 4-0. We're in the mud. So Everton have got to find a way of containing Brighton. And if we do lose, we lose 1-0. We lose 2-1. We lose 3-2. You know, we can't be losing 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 because it's essentially, albeit the other results may go our way today. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if Southampton get a point at Forest, and then because of their goal difference, it means very little that they're only 2 points ahead of us. You know, it could be that Leicester don't win. It really could be. So that would be great, but Everton have to get something, in my opinion, in this game. And you know, we then have Man City coming to Goodison. Now, we all know that Everton will get up for big games, and this will be like no other. You know, this is going to be the biggest team in Europe, in my opinion, coming to Goodison Park when Everton's stock is down, having to try and get a result. And Everton will be doing exactly the same. It's going to be a hell of a game of football, and I'm really looking forward to being there to support the Blues on to getting something against Man City. But let's talk about today. Big game, big moment. And I'm going to say big opportunity because this Brighton side, they only played Wednesday. It might even be Thursday. Was it Thursday? I can't remember. They played midweek. You know, they played 99 minutes against Manchester United. You know, a really, really tough game of football where both teams went at each other. There was over 40 shots in that game, and it wasn't, you know, for some stupidity by Luke Shaw, Man United would have got a point and Brighton wouldn't have got anything, or got a point as well. You know, that they would have got confidence, but they also would have got fatigue, and Everton have got to be bullish and aggressive and doing the difficult things really, really well, mixing it up in the middle of the park. I thought Garner and Arna worked. I thought Iwobi worked if Iwobi starts, but we do need more pace to get that ball from defence to attack because, you know, pinging it up to Calvert-Lewin, and no disrespect to McNeil, who's played well. We need more. We need a bit more pace. It could be Damari Gray comes in. It could be, and it would make sense, in my opinion. It would make sense because he can go and support Calvert-Lewin. He can run through the channels. He's got more pace. He can hurt Brighton. He's technically a good footballer. We know his end product isn't always great, and we know sometimes he doesn't make that pass. But we need to stretch Brighton when they're attacking us. And if we don't do that, it could be a kicking. It could be a real kicking. So for me, I'm not going to go through the team, but Damari Gray does come in. I just don't know who for. I don't know who for, but he does come in. I think it's actually imperative that he comes into this side, and we get something. I also don't think he makes the same mistakes that Iwobi does. You know, Iwobi frustrates me because he has these moments of quality football and these moments of sheer stupidity. And the Leicester game was one of them. You know, he plays the ball across the midfield when he's got an easier pass right in the middle of the park. He misses him and passes straight to, I think it was Maddison. I mean, it's just idiotic. But Iwobi does have those moments, and Everton, I just think this is a too big a game to have the threat of that. So for me, yeah, I think Damari Gray comes into the side, albeit you lose out a bit of work ethic. You like to think your midfield can cover you. Who knows? Guys, I'm leaving it there. That's your match preview. Appreciate it's mega late. Appreciate half of you were probably down there, but it is what it is. Family time will always come first. And If I'm being brutally honest, it will always come over Everton playing poorly because they're depressing and family time's great. So, guys, look, I love you. Keep smiling. We'll get through this together. As always, up the toffees. Peace.